So the question in today's video is it too late to own Hive blockchain? Just a couple months ago, I covered Hive blockchain in a fairly deep dive in a two-part video, which I'll link down below in the description. I went over how the business operates and the things that I like about Hive going forwards. And in there, I guess a few of the highlights are, first off, they're an Ethereum miner, and they started going up because of Bitcoin. But now Ethereum has had its own run-up where that it's passed its previous all-time highs. Today it's sitting around $2,200 to $2,300 per Ether. So Hive is actually one of the largest, if not the largest, public company that's mining Ethereum. So they're definitely benefiting right now as they're mining Ethereum and the prices of Ethereum are high. Another thing about Hive which they've done in order to help their mining operations go smoothly is they've upgraded their graphics cards from 4GB memory to 8GB memory. And apparently in January or so, 4GB memory would become exponentially more useless in mining Ethereum just because of the amount of memory required to be able to do the mining. So Hive has been doing upgrades to their facilities ever since I think like November or even before that, such that their equipment would continue to stay up to date. And with less miners out there being able to mine Ethereum because of the requirements of memory, this means there's going to be less players able to generate, and Hive should get more of the market share from mining. The third thing that I loved about Hive is the fact that they have their own energy play on mining. So you might be wondering, how does energy and mining have anything to do with each other? Well, mining is an energy-intensive operation. So what Hive does is they go to these utilities companies and they buy blocks of energies. They basically lease it for a flat price where it's a lot cheaper compared to a household who's getting energy supply off the grid. And during the peak hours where energy is very expensive, Hive's energy costs are pretty fixed and they're also at a very low rate. So what they'll do is they'll divert their energy and turn off the Bitcoin or Ethereum miners and divert their power to the grid. And basically the difference between what they're paying for megawatt hour versus what the grid is paying is profits to them. So this is another revenue stream that Hive has, which is very unique to them. And the fourth point I want to make about Hive, highlighting what I covered in the previous videos, is the fact that Hive is planning for 2021 to boost up their crypto holdings. Typically for crypto mining companies, what they do is they mine their own cryptocurrency and they use that cryptocurrency and sell it off into the market in order to fund their operations. But Hive has longer term thinking and they believe that cryptocurrencies will rise against the fiat currencies like the US dollar or Canadian dollar. So what they're doing with this is they're raising cash in order to fund their operations instead of taking the cryptocurrency that they mine, selling it on the market and taking that cash to fund their operations. And this leads us into the main point of this video as to why I think Hive is just popping off now and it didn't pop off earlier. Funny thing, I actually sent a message to my Discord group yesterday saying that I was going to be buying into Hive today this morning before the whole run-up. Unfortunately, Hive didn't reach the price target that I set my limit by and it didn't execute, but nonetheless, if any of my Discord members decide to buy into Hive just this morning, they would be up over 20% on that initial investment. And the reason why I think Hive is taking off right now, and this is my speculation, was the fact that Hive is probably adding more shares into the market in order to generate capital. And we saw this in a news release a couple weeks ago, where Hive was saying they would be selling up to $100 million USD worth of Hive shares in order to generate capital for the business. However, they didn't state when they're going to be selling these. It would just be over a 25-month period. And that period started just a couple weeks ago. So I believe that Hive was probably selling quite a few of their own shares in the open market, which kept the prices low when we compare them to Riot Blockchain as well as Mara. These two stocks ran up heavily as Bitcoin ran up heavily after Elon Musk and Tesla revealed that they bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin soared from around like $52,000 Canadian all the way to about $60,000 to $61,000 Canadian, and actually that was on my birthday yesterday. But it was only until today when Hive made this big move up of around 20+% in just the past 4 hours. So my thinking behind this is basic supply and demand. And the fact that there was just not enough supply in order to fulfill the demand, therefore the price went up. And that's probably because Hive wasn't selling any more of their shares on the open market. And if we took a look at the number of shares that they could sell for 100 million USD, that would be roughly around 30 to 40 million shares. And looking at their volume in the past couple of days, it was between 6 and 8 million shares. So there's no way that they raised their $100 million that they wanted to from selling shares in the past couple of days. They probably sold a significant amount, but we'll have to find out when they release their earnings next time. For now, the real question for you guys watching this video is it too late to buy Hive? And my personal opinion is I don't think it's too late to buy Hive right now. I still think that cryptocurrencies are going to continue running up, and as long as that happens, Hive will continue to move up with them. In fact, I don't think Hive has moved up as much as Riot or Mara, and therefore we might see a couple more green days before Hive sees some consolidation at maybe around the $4.50 mark to $5 mark. But this is all my speculation right now. But I am fairly confident that we are not at the end of the bull run for cryptocurrencies. If we look at Google Trends, we still have not hit the search volume of Bitcoin that we saw in 2017 when the bubble popped. We're only maybe about halfway there. And right now, the street is saying that Bitcoin is being bought by institutional investors, unlike 2017 when that was just a big retail boom. So with institutions buying in, we probably won't see as dramatic of a crash for cryptocurrencies because institutions don't have paper hands like retail investors. So I don't expect the next crash to be like an 80% crash from the all-time highs that we're making this time. Maybe like a 60 to 50% crash is realistic in my opinion. So currently my position on Hive after this 20% run up, I think that it's possible we could still see more green days. However, being more of a conservative investor, I'm not going to be buying into this hype. I hold already a fairly significant amount of Hive shares, maybe in the orders of like $5,000 to $6,000 worth. I haven't really checked all my accounts, but with today's run up, it's done pretty well. And my exposure to cryptocurrencies is at a place where I'm comfortable and I don't really want to move it any further. I'd rather be looking for other value stocks in the market right now that I think are undervalued, which my Discord group was alerted about a stock that I'm picking up right now. I've also been seeing some action in the altcoins like Ripple as well as Stellar, and these are starting to move up, but they also haven't crossed their previous all-time highs. So that might be where I'm going to be deploying my capital more into these altcoins rather than to Bitcoin or Ethereum. If we see a pullback in these two currencies, I probably will be adding a bit more. And if you guys have never bought cryptocurrencies, I've got two exchanges down below that I highly recommend. BitBuy supposedly has the lowest fees in Canada right now, so I'd recommend looking into BitBuy if you're interested in buying cryptocurrencies. But then my personal favorite cryptocurrency exchange out there right now is Coinsquare, which I also have a link down below which will take you to signing up for Coinsquare. What's great about Coinsquare is that they charge zero fees for e-transfers. However, their fees for transactions are not as transparent and they're probably a little bit higher than BitBuy. So it really depends on if you're going to be trading in and out of Bitcoin or if you're planning to buy and hold. I'd say Coinsquare is better for buy and hold, but if you're going to be trading in and out, then BitBuy is probably the better option. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys on today's video. Basically, the main takeaway is that Hive is probably moving up right now because we saw Riot and Mara as well as cryptocurrencies move up quite a bit and Hive didn't move at all. So there's just a bit of a lag in the market and Hive is finally catching up to it. So hopefully you guys out there spotted this as well as took your opportunity to buy Hive in the past couple of days. If not, I still think there's more upside to Hive as cryptocurrencies probably haven't reached a peak yet and Hive is just getting started. Looking at Hive's chart back in 2017, they're still trading lower than the 2017 levels, which is a good sign because cryptocurrencies are a lot more stronger nowadays in terms of the holders out there. And the fact that Hive is still not valued like the 2017 levels, I believe there still is a bit more upside to Hive. Yet there is still a lot of risk with cryptocurrencies as they're quite volatile. So if we do see Hive drop back down for some reason to the $3 level, I will be buying more there. But for now at the $4 level, I'll let it stay there, consolidate for a bit, and reconsider after that. If you want to check out the two videos on Hive that I did before, check them out right here. If you're there, I'll see you there. If not, keep up the grind and have a great day.